Hey guys, welcome to the Killing the Tea podcast. This is Gare,
And Kate.
and we are going to be discussing all things chills, thrills, and kills. Kate and I are going to be talking about our favorite books, TV shows, and movies that are in the thriller or crime fiction genre, as well as some reading habits and other items related to how we met on Bookstagram that will fit in with this podcast. So, thank you so much for joining us, and we hope that you have fun and get totally terrified.
Who is your favorite or best book boyfriend? Who's
Oh
your
my
favorite
God.
fictional character? We know what your TV one is.
Oh my God, Nate Jacobs. My book boyfriend is June Elena from the Lars Kepler series.
Mm-hmm.
Oh my God. He is so like dark and brooding, and
Mm-hmm.
he's so like protective of his family, and he like
Yeah,
goes above and beyond for all of his cases. So I'm definitely gonna say June Elena.
I
And
love
I always cast him as like Henry Cavill.
Yes.
So
Oh
I
my
mean
gosh.
that doesn't hurt either.
That is hilarious because the only one that I could think of was, and I can't think of his name, Ben in Fool Me Once. And what I was gonna tell you was that I'd never been like extremely attracted to Henry Cavill before. Like, it's not like I didn't like him, but like didn't
Mhm.
like stick in my head as like, oh my gosh, I love him. And that book made me attracted to Henry Cavill because she kept referencing that he looked like him and he was amazing in the book.
Oh
So
my God, I
we
know.
almost had the same answer.
That is insane. And I agree.
Mhm.
I loved Ben. I loved Ben.
Mhm.
I think it's
Yeah.
just like, I think it's because I've read seven or eight of the June Elena books, like however
Yeah.
many are out,
Yeah.
that like there's just like every book I like love him even more.
Mhm.
And to me, those books kind of represent that whole thing of nobody being safe because like
Yeah.
they really put even like the secondary characters, but also the main characters like really through the ringer.
Yeah.
Um, so yeah, I would say him or Will Trent from Karen
Yeah.
Slaughter. I
Yeah.
mean, everybody
He's
loves
pretty
Will Trent.
amazing too. I know.
Oh, all of his like emotional scars.
I know.
He's just such a babe. I'm gonna,
Yeah.
yeah, I guess I would just pick either one of them. If not, maybe both. I
Mhm.
mean, I'm sure one of them would get sick of me.
Yeah. I mean, we all get sick of whoever we live with, technically, at
Right,
some point.
right.
Not just that someone would get sick of
Like,
you.
I'm
You're
sure one
like,
of them would
wait
get sick
a
of me, and
second.
you're like, yeah,
I'm
probably.
like, everyone gets sick of someone. Oh my
That's too funny.
God.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, well, yeah. There's other like spoilery things I could say, but
I know.
yeah, I think that Juna Lina is just my man. Like,
Yeah.
I love him so
I was
much.
thinking earlier this week too that I wanted to ask you um what good books are that are like thrillers or crime fiction but have like a little bit of love story in them. And you know what it was that was making me think of it is that we talked about Robert Dugoni because like her relationship is so sweet and I love that like it just stays that way in that book. And so sometimes I'm in the mood for like, okay, I really want to read like something thrilling still. But like it's nice when there's a little bit of happiness in it every now and then.
Yeah, yeah. There's definitely romance in Will Trent. Um,
Yeah.
I enjoy that.
Mhm.
The I'm gonna blank on the name. The Burning Lake series by Alice
Okay.
Blanchard is a
Okay.
good one. And that one actually has a little bit of a love triangle in it.
Ooh.
So I'm super into that. Um,
Sometimes it just stresses me out. Love
but it's,
triangles.
I know. And
I
the
know, I
thing
guess
is that,
everything else I read probably should though too.
I mean,
It's the
yeah,
love triangle that gets me
I
though.
can see, yeah, like Kate the Great finds love triangles very disturbing.
Yeah.
Um, I guess I can see that too. But I mean, I don't think I've ever been in a love triangle that I can remember. But
Yeah.
I also think the thing that could be stressful about that is that at the end of the day, you either like you the books that we read, you solve the crime. There's
Yeah.
something in the end, unless there's a cliffhanger because there's another one coming. But
Right.
I could see why a love triangle would actually be more stressful because the authors do a really good job
Yeah.
of showing the positives and like making you really feel on the fence about
Yes.
where to go. And what if you do
Hmm.
choose that one and then you wonder what your life would have been like if you
Yeah.
went in the other direction? So I can see that.
Yes. Yeah. It definitely stresses me out. I don't know if you've watched Outlander or read Outlander,
Mm-mm.
but okay. Well, let's just say that there's kind of a love triangle. That's not a spoiler. And in the season that she spent the most time with the guy I didn't like, I refused to watch the episodes.
I love
I
that.
can't handle it. I
I
don't
love
know why,
that.
but I
That
can't.
makes me so happy because I am very stubborn in the sense of like making the same decisions. Um, but yeah, I don't know. I'm trying to think what other ones have like a little bit of a romance aspect. I think there's
Mhm.
another series that I'm thinking of too that I can't like really remember right away. I think Bruce has some ideas.
Yeah. He's like, "I read some great books."
Yeah, he's like, Mom, what
I
about these
know.
books? What about
Good
these?
lord.
I'll have
Yeah.
to think though, because I do like when there's some romance and nothing
Yeah.
against it, but I don't even know if there's romance in the Junalina series, but like there's a part of you that wants him to find somebody. Because his backstory is like horrific and terrifying and super sad. So you want him to find somebody, or when he finally does find somebody who like loves him for him, you're like, please make this last, or you want it to be you.
That would
So
be the best option.
there's definitely, but I think the Burning Lake series is the one that I'm like is popping out a lot in
Okay.
my head. And the reason that I say that is because I always get an arc of that series. Um,
Mhm.
and the last one was a really big cliffhanger
Oh.
with the case and the love triangle. And I was like,
Oh
you
boy.
have got to be kidding me. I do not know
No.
how I'm supposed to wait for this.
Oh my gosh.
Um,
What did you say the author's name was?
Alice Blanchard.
Okay.
I think the first one is called, I can see the cover, but I can't think of the name. But
Actually, she quite a few.
it's perfect to read during spooky season too because it's like a very
Nice.
small town and it's always like chilly and like wintry or like fallish.
Nice.
But it's kind of
It.
that thing where like it gives me the vibes of like being creepy where you hear the leaves blowing across like cement and you can see
Mm-hmm.
your breath at night
Ugh,
and you know
the vibe.
the
Is it
vibe.
the Natalie Lockhart series by chance?
Yes.
Okay, cool.
I think Burning Lake is the name of the town. So I wasn't
Oh,
too far
okay, that
off.
makes sense. Trace of Evil, is that the first one?
Yes. You
Nice.
will love. You will
Nice.
love. Like I think that you'll want to binge,
I
binge,
want to
binge.
read it all. Yeah.
Yes. The Taylor Jackson series by
Okay.
JT Ellison, that's got
Yes.
some good romance in it.
Nice.
Yeah. Um I think that's the other one I was thinking of. But it's really funny that you we were talking earlier about how we were in like work mode, like check everything you
Mm-hmm.
can off your list.
Mm-hmm.
And over here on my bed that you can't see because they're under blankets,
Yeah.
I took out my three Tracy Cross White books today.
Nice.
So I can pick that series back up. And I also made a list on my phone of like the order of the books so that I can just start ordering and binge reading them. So when
Yeah.
you said the Robert Dugoni series, I was like, oh my God, we are literally on like, and just keep
We
in mind,
are.
like, this is one of those days where we were both pretty busy doing other things. And
Mhm.
like, we didn't really talk a lot today, which is
No, we didn't.
unusual for us. But like, when
I
you were like
know.
Robert Dugoni, and I was like, cool, like that series was on my mind today too.
That's so cool.
That's
We're,
so
like,
cool.
so in sync
Oh my God.
in so many
Separated
ways.
ever.
People don't even know. I know, we probably were.
Seriously.
Mhm.
I have a really bad knot in my shoulder blade that I've had for like years. And it just
Mm.
like always comes back. And like a coworker and I used to joke around that I ate my twin in the womb because I'm such a brat. And so maybe I didn't. Like maybe we were just
I
like, you and I were
survived.
like little angels on like clouds, like waiting to be born. And then we were like,
Yes.
see you soon. Because
I like that explanation.
some of the things that like I say to you or you send to me, I'm like, I was just going to send this to you, or like, I was just going to mention this to you. And it's very, very,
Mhm.
very strange
It is.
because the thing that I love about this podcast, to be completely honest, is you and I were friends
Mhm.
for a couple of months before we decided to do this, but it was all about books and stuff. And like
Yeah.
our friendship, like since we started recording and now is like has gotten where it is now. So like when you guys
Yeah.
are listening to this, like this is our friendship like really taking a turn and like getting bigger and bigger as we record this podcast and have these conversations,
Yeah.
that we're like realizing like we're not only getting closer as friends, but like we're realizing how much we have in common.
Yeah. You kinda said that because I was just editing the first episode, you, like, pointed out that our relationship would probably develop, and then when I was
Mhm.
listening to it, I was like, "Whoa," and it already has, and we're, like, 4 episodes in or 5 episodes
Yeah.
in, basically, so that's really cool you brought it up again.
Yeah. Yeah.
And yeah, it's
That's
a little
awesome.
time capsule of us
Oh my God,
getting
I
to know each
know.
other, and everyone else gets to know us too.
A
And then
little
eventually we will start to kinda know some people who are just, like, who found us through the podcast, and we
that'll
can
be
all
so
read
cool one
books
day.
together. I know. It'd be really
That'll be
cool.
so cool.
Mhm.
Because I feel like people like know me and like know us from like Bookstagram and like the other things that you like all the pots you have your hand in with like everything that you do. But like yeah, it'll be really cool for like people to find us through this because they're like,
Yeah.
I just want to talk about like spooky season and scary shit all year
Mhm.
round. Where's my tribe?
Yes.
And then we're just like, here we
Yes.
are.
Yeah.
Because
We
yeah,
are the
that's like
spooky people.
hell yes, hell yes. I have been just preparing for all of the spooky things. I
Do
want to
you
watch,
decorate?
I take out pumpkins.
Yeah,
Like I
nice.
buy pumpkins. I don't like I'll probably carve pumpkins like
Mhm.
closer to actual like Halloween, but I
Yeah.
have like I buy like decorative pumpkins.
Yeah.
Um I have like little things like that, but like I don't go like too crazy because
Mhm.
October for me is like, yes, we're finally in spooky season. Everybody else is in like
Mhm.
the same vibe, but like this is my lifestyle all year round. Like
Yes.
my comfort movies are the Scream movies. I like will watch Halloween all year round. If somebody tells me that this book is like terrifying and don't read it at night because it will scare the hell out of you, I'm not saving it for October. Like nothing against it to
No.
the people that do. Like
Right?
everybody should have the right to do what they want when they want
Read what they
and
want.
read what they want, watch what they want. Like if you want to watch Gilmore Girls all year round and then like finally amp it up to like scary shit in October, go ahead. That's
Yeah.
what makes you happy. I no, this is my lifestyle. Spooky AF.
Mhm.
So,
Yes.
um, but yeah, I actually started to um dive in to trying to curate, I guess, like a spooky, creepy, crime-filled TBR for this month, which I mean,
Mhm.
I try to do anyway,
Yeah.
but that's like kind of one of the other things that's a little bit of a downfall is, you know, if something like by Simone St. James, for instance, who's
Mhm.
known to like put a little bit of supernatural in her books,
Yep.
when she releases something in the summer, there are some people who will save it for, you know, fall when it is time to get spooky.
Right.
I'll read it when it comes out. So like
Yeah.
for me, it's hard for me to find things that I want to read during that, you know, this time.
Yeah,
But I actually read two really good books over the weekend.
that's amazing.
And without me really acknowledging it at the time, they both had very similar themes.
Whoa.
Um, so I guess what I'm recommending and what I read recently was a book called Ask for Andrea or Andrea,
Mhm.
whatever. I don't know people.
However you read it in your
However
head.
you read it. Ask for Andrea by Noelle W. Ely. Illy, IHLI. And I found out about this book through a book talk. So
Whoa.
I owe the book talk community a little bit of an apology because
Yeah.
I know that I've previously stated that I'm not like a big book talk person
Mhm.
because sometimes it's just like a list and it doesn't tell you like why people like a book, and that's
Mhm.
fine.
Yeah.
But that's why like I wasn't really into book talk, but I will say book talk has actually, I'm still not finding the people that give like actual full reviews. It's just the people that are
Mhm.
like, I recommend this book, and this book. But I
Right.
will say I give the book talk community major props for finding independent authors or books that people don't talk about as much and
Mhm.
like kind of like putting the spotlight on them. And this is one of those books.
Yeah.
Um, so this was recommended on Book Talk. I don't remember the book talker's name, unfortunately, but you're out there somewhere. And it
Search
was
through
recommend
all of your likes.
yeah. But it was recommended because they were like, if you were really into the Fireball episode of Crime Junkie, then you should read this.
Okay.
And
Good.
the Fireball episode of Crime Junkie is what got me into that podcast.
Whoa, so that couldn't have been a better recommendation for you.
No. And it was
TikTok knows exactly who
so
you are.
good. Yeah, it's scary. It's really
Yeah,
scary.
it's TikTok. I've learned a lot about myself with TikTok.
I have to. I have to. I actually was
That was
telling
how you
you,
became a Coho fan, right? Book
yeah,
Talk?
that's yes, that's how I became a Coho fan. TikTok also recently told me that I was depressed
Yeah.
because I was talking to you about how like the
Because you were
ritual,
talking to me. Sorry, go
because I
ahead.
was talking to you about my like favorite thing about Tuesdays when we record the podcast is like I get
Uh-huh.
done work and I go to Subway and I have Subway for dinner and then we record.
Yeah.
And I got a TikTok that was like, oh, is anybody else like in their depression era known as all I want to eat is Subway? And I was like, attacked. Attacked.
Rude.
I was like, oh my God, am I depressed? Or am I
I
just
know.
like really
I
into the
know.
Italian herbs and cheese?
Right.
Um, but yeah, TikTok, they know you really well. So now I'm a
Yes.
Coho fan. I'm
Yes, you get
depressed, but I'm
called
still eating
out,
Subway.
but you also find good books.
Yes, yeah. So
Yeah.
Ask for Andrea is kind of a little bit of a supernatural, which usually isn't my vibe, but it is about three women who are dead and they are following around the man that murdered them because he had met them all on a dating website.
Wow.
So it's a little bit more of a thriller version of the Lucky Bones, almost. The Lovely
The
Bones.
lucky lovely bones, yeah. I thought you said lucky phones at first, and I was like,
Lucky
lucky
Phone.
phone.
No, it's a little bit more like
Okay.
the Lovely Bones, where
Yes.
the girl's murdered and she watches like her family and everything. Because
Mhm.
this one, these women, they kind of watch their families as well as the man who murdered them.
Nice.
Um, and it does tie in very well in the end. And one thing they have in common is this is something else I've seen on TikTok, but I guess if you're ever feeling unsafe, so this is just a PSA from what I've
Yeah.
seen on TikTok for everybody
Yes.
listening. Um, we are all about thrills, chills, and kills here, but if you ever are feeling unsafe at a bar,
Mhm.
you will ask your bartender for an angel shot, and they will know that
Mm.
there's something wrong and that you don't feel safe in the environment you're
Oh,
in. Whether
good
you
to
think
know.
somebody slipped you a drink or there's somebody scaring you, ask for an angel shot
Mm. Now we
in
know.
this. Yeah, and in this book that whole thing is there's a sign in the bathroom. If you feel unsafe, Ask the Bartender for Andrea or Andrea.
Aw.
So that's why the book is called that, but it was so good.
Oh my
And I
gosh, I
could not
need it.
put it down. Like I'm
The cover
saying,
is so cool.
the cover's amazing.
Yeah.
I have this thing, like I've told you this, Fridays and Saturday nights are my jam. I love to have the ability to stay up later than I would during the weekday. So like that's when I like to watch scary movies. That's when
Yep.
I like batten down the hatches, fill up the water bottle, get some snacks, and like we're watching Scream, Halloween, whatever I'm in the mood for. Usually those are
Yep.
my top two choices. Um, and then Saturday night, I literally was getting ready to watch one of the Scream movies. I can't remember which one it was,
Mhm.
but I could not get this book out of my head. And I was like, I'm not watching a movie tonight. Like, I can't get into any
Wow.
movie or TV show tonight. I stayed up until 2 o'clock in the morning reading it.
Oh my gosh,
And
that's amazing.
that was the day after I came back from New York City. So I've been
Oh,
like
yeah.
exhausted.
Yeah,
And
I
I
bet.
stayed up until 2 o'clock in the morning reading it. And then probably didn't fall asleep until 3 o'clock because I was just like laying in bed, like, oh my God.
Wow.
It was,
That is a
it was,
glowing review.
it was creepy. It was really sad. But
Mhm.
it was also like that. It had a really cool element of the police procedural to it because
Okay.
you get to see how their bodies were found and how the detectives and everything put together the fact that this man is the same person that killed these three women, you know? So like they're
Right.
watching their families, they're watching him and like him go out like throughout his day picking
Mhm.
out potential victims as well as the police putting everything together.
That's cool.
And it's multiple POVs from the three women.
Nice.
So you really get a feel as to who they are. And it like sucks because like you're just like, if it were any other book, I'd be like, please stay safe. Like, please stay safe. I know that you're probably going to live so you can tell the story, but like literally
Right.
opens with you knowing that all three of them are dead.
Uh,
So heartbreaking.
it's also on Kindle Unlimited, just so everyone knows. There really are some amazing ones on Kindle Unlimited now.
I know. I'm
I'm
signing up.
I'm loving it.
It's like 2 months free, I think.
Yeah. I did send you that. I
Yeah.
was
Um,
like, here, get it.
so good. um, and coming out in November, I
Mhm.
read Before You Knew My Name by Jacqueline Bublitz,
Okay.
which is about an 18-year-old girl who runs away, I think from Wisconsin.
Mhm.
And she runs away to New
Okay.
York City. And she's 18 and she's on her own and she's murdered. So it is about her and the woman who finds her body, who is also
Whoa.
like kind of running from her life, not necessarily running away, but she's like found herself in a position where she's like, you know what, screw this, I'm going to New York for a year, I'm going to find myself
Mhm.
and like rediscover who I am and go from there. And she is the one that finds the body.
Wow.
So it's their kind of two stories intermixed, and it was more of a literary thriller, but
Mhm.
it did have that paranormal aspect because one of the characters is obviously dead.
Right.
Um, but it was so sad and so heartbreaking. And it just like broke me into pieces. Like
Oh,
I finished it relatively early on in the day on Sunday. And like normally
mhm.
if I do that, I'm like, I can pick up something else. Like, what's next? And I was like, I
Yeah.
can't pick up anything. I just need to like sulk in
Yeah.
my
I get
feelings.
that.
Yeah.
Mhm. Felt that
So
way after All Good People Here. I just kind of sat there on the couch for a little while.
that one's so sad.
Yeah.
That one is
That
really
one,
heavy.
you're just sitting there like, okay, back to reality.
Traumatizing.
Yeah. But it's good. It's really
Traumatizing.
good.
Very good. Yeah. But that's what I read recently.
Yeah.
And I really, really enjoyed them.
Mhm.
Um, but I was in kind of that, I'm a little bit of a mood reader. So I was in kind of that
Yeah.
mood where I wanted something a little different than your police
I
procedural
get that.
thing. And I mean, the minute I added Ask for Andrea or Andrea to my wish list.
Somebody.
Whichever one. The minute I added it to my wish list, I was like, I know I need to read this. And
Yeah,
then Saturday came and I just could not stop thinking about it. And
that's
I picked it
great.
up and just binged it. So
That's so cool.
that is what I've read recently that I
Love that.
loved. Loved, loved, loved.
I finished Daisy Darker this weekend,
Hell
and
yeah, you
I
did.
loved it so much.
So
Really loved
good.
it. I really don't want to say anything about it except
No.
that it's definitely its own twist on and then they were gone. It's very Agatha Christie locked room thing, but
Mm-hmm.
it's Alice Feeney, so there's a twist.
Yeah. Yeah.
And
I
it's
would
great.
say also, now, is this just me or did it kind of remind you a little of Knives Out?
Of what?
Knives Out,
Oh, yes. It was totally making me think. Yes, I thought that while I was reading it. That's hilarious. I thought about
right?
how those two would be good to recommend together. Yeah.
Yeah. Like if you love this, watch this kind of thing.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah.
I totally thought so. I love that movie. I know there's like,
A
is
sequel
it a
coming out.
sequel? Okay. I couldn't remember if it was a sequel or just the same producer, but yeah, I'm so
Yeah.
excited for that.
Sequel coming out. Super exciting because it's going to be
Yeah.
the same detective, Daniel Craig, but
Mhm.
it's just going to be a different
Yeah.
case. And I think that the thing with the people that made that movie is that they realized what worked for that type of
Hmm.
movie and what made it so successful.
Yeah.
And I think that they're going to just be like, let's stick with what we know. Cause like they seem
Yeah.
obviously really smart people. And there wasn't anything in that movie that didn't work. So
Yeah.
I'm super pumped.
Yeah. Yeah.
Super pumped. And I
Also, I
think Kate
saw.
Hudson's in it.
Oh, really? Oh, yeah. I think I
Hmm.
do remember seeing her in the trailer.
Yeah.
I saw Smile this week. So good.
Oh, so
So amazing.
good.
It's really, really, really good. It's
That's
really good.
exciting.
It's terrifying and like disorienting and extremely stylish and very scary.
I'm so excited. There's a
Yeah.
lot right now that I want to watch. I want them to be streaming
Mm-hmm.
because my closest movie theater that I would actually sit in is
I
like an
know.
hour, hour and a half away from me.
Yeah.
So I'm kind of like, I want to see Bodies, Bodies, Bodies.
Oh, it's so good.
People have been blowing up my Instagram about The Barbarian.
Yeah.
I want to
Um,
see Smile.
I
There's a
love
new
Smile.
one by the guy that did the original Scream and Scream 2, Kevin
Oh, really?
Williamson. Yeah, it's called Sick.
Okay. I haven't seen
And
it
the
yet,
reviews are like insane. Like they're like the like Scream is back kind of vibes,
but
but like that meta kind of thing that he did with Scream, I guess he does with this one. And
oh
yeah,
my
I've heard
gosh.
really good things about that.
That's exciting. I need to. Was it in theaters?
I don't know if
Okay.
it might not even be out yet.
Oh yeah, release is October 12th.
Yeah, so it must be like
Nice.
early reviews that I saw, but
Yeah, that's
super
exciting.
pumped for all of those.
That's amazing. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I can't remember what the other we saw a preview for Pray for the Devil. It looks terrifying. It's like an exorcist one, but like the trailer was like just like it was so scary.
I don't know if I can do that. I have a really hard time with the religious type one. Like The Exorcist terrified me. The Exorcism of Emily Rose honestly traumatized me so badly that if I
Yeah.
did not see Jennifer Carpenter in Dexter after that
Yeah.
movie, I would have assumed that it was real and that she was dead because that movie terrified
Wow.
me. Like there's this movie called like Drag Me to Hell that everybody talks about and they
Okay.
love. And nope, I can't watch it. I can't do
Mm.
the religious demon taking kind of
Yeah,
stuff. It just really messes me up.
I know.
Messes me up.
It's a book that got made into a movie, and Tyler's like, "You should read the book." And I'm
Oh,
like, "Okay."
I might take that journey with you.
Yeah. Actually hadn't looked up the book, but at the end it said based on the book.
Hmm.
And it looks creepy. Very creepy.
I just recently bought The Cabin at the End of the World by Paul
Okay.
Tremblay because the trailer came out for the movie.
Okay. Why do I feel like I read that?
You probably did. It was very popular when it came out. I just didn't read it because,
Maybe I did. Oh no, I haven't read that. I'm thinking of something else.
well, perhaps
Well,
whenever
maybe
you're in the
that one
mood.
too.
Yeah.
My list just
Because
grows every Tuesday.
I know. So do my lists.
Yeah, I
Like this
bet.
Tracy Crosswhite thing is like really kicking off because of our conversation last week about like Ottawa authors
Mhm.
and stuff. And I really want like a good series to binge. And
Mhm.
I was looking up like the different plots to all of the books
Yeah.
today, and I was like, damn, these all sound really good. There's only like one of them that doesn't necessarily sound like it's going to be like a missing person or a murder case. I think it might
Mhm.
have to do with like drugs or like crime, like the underbelly of crime. I don't really know,
Yeah,
but
yeah.
I will still read it because I
Mhm.
am very excited for
Yeah.
those. Um, I'm also very excited for the second Frost Easton book.
Oh yeah. Because you just did we talk about that last week? That you did
Hmm.
finish it, or were you starting it? Okay. I couldn't remember.
I
But
finished
yeah,
it.
it's so good.
It was so
The whole
good.
series is so good.
It was so good. So, so, so good. The reviews are very back and forth on the third one.
Oh, really? I didn't
Hmm.
remember that. I loved
So,
all of them.
but that makes me excited for it because I want to know what
Yeah.
side I'm on, you know?
Hey guys, I hope you enjoyed part one of this episode. If you did, make sure that you come back on Thursday for part two. And don't forget to stay up to date with everything that we're reading and talking about on our Instagrams at Gare Indeed Reads and at the girl with the book on the couch. Links are also in the show notes, so make sure you follow.